couple days ago, Konami released Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron, which is an app designed for tournament play and a whole lot more. So starting off with the basic function of the app, it's a life point calculator that keeps a record of all damage that has been kept. So let's say I took 1,000 life points and my opponent gained, 500. There we go. There we go. It has a log, just like right off to the left here. I keep the record of all of that. In the past, at Tier 2 events, you would have to have a pen and paper to keep a record of what damage has been dealt or what life points have been gained, so that both records have that log to keep both players accountable. This app kind of eliminates that and makes it a little bit easier to just carry things around. Now, there have been apps in the past that have done this, but they've always been prohibited from Tier 2 events under the guise of you can't have a communication device on hand or anything that connects to the internet. So hopefully that will be lifted with the addition of Neuron. And what the life point calculator includes as well is a timer. So you can just hit that when time and round is started, and instead of having to call for a judge to figure out how much time is left in round, you can just look to the app and be like, okay, there's about 2 minutes left, roughly. Last thing about the life point calculator is it has a camera search function. So, just hit that, and you take a picture of a card, and you have all the information of the card on hand. So, this is useful for cards that are in other languages, or a card that's been eroded several times, like in Necro Valley. You have the up-to-date text on demand, which is really cool. In addition to all of that, you can also log all your duels, say who won, what deck you're using, your opponent's deck, and some other notes about that duel, which I really like. But Neuron is so much more than just a life point calculator and a card wiki. It is also a deck builder, and it's connected to the card database, meaning that every single card in the TCG is on this app. You can either search for cards by typing it in, or you can spread cards out and use that camera function to search up to 10 cards and add them to the deck. And the app has a confidence percentage, so it tells you how confident it is in saying that it is that card, and it does a really good job at that. And I used this feature 3 different times and 3 different ways. The first way I did it was I spread them out like normal, and the app registered all the cards like you would expect it to. The second time I used this feature, I put some cards sideways, upside down, used a little bit of a different angle, and it still got all of them. It was only the third time that it had difficulties because I put cards really close together or really far apart, and it just wasn't able to recognize all of them at the same time, because how it's identifying it is through the artwork, and there are some overlaps, and it wasn't able to capture everything. Which is kind of to be expected because I was kind of using it in a way that it wasn't intended. In addition to making your own deck, you can also look up other people's decks. So just right out of the gate, I have Final Countdown, Salamin Great, Ring Dragon Raw, Totally Awesome, so I'm guessing Paleo. So yeah, a lot of different options. So how is this useful? Let's say you're building a Salamangreat deck, but you really don't know how. You can just look up other people's builds in the app instead of having to look through Google to get a basic understanding of the deck. Now, I do have some criticisms about this app. For example, there is no way to directly export the deck list from the app. It is connected to the card database, so you can download your deck list from the site. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why you wouldn't be able to download it directly from the app that is designed to eliminate having to go to a computer. It just doesn't make any sense. One thing I was really looking forward to in this app was to be able to link your Konami ID and your deck list to an event. So all that you need to do is go in, check in, pay, and you're good to go. And all the while, all that they would need to do is just scan your phone, and they have your player information and deck list all spread out, instead of having to carry a bunch of paper around. It does not look like there's anything like that at the moment, and all that it really does is just eliminate the need to carry your Konami ID around, which isn't a big problem for me in the first place, which I just carry mine in my wallet. I do realize that some people don't just carry their Konami ID around with them everywhere. That does help, but it would have been a lot better to have everything linked to an event. Though, to be completely fair, Neuron did come out during a global pandemic where there's no Tier 2 events to be seen. Why would they include a feature that you wouldn't be able to use for a considerable amount of time? Hopefully this will be rectified after the pandemic passes. One thing I cannot sign off as being a fault of the pandemic is there is no offline mode. You must be able to connect to the internet by your phone or the Wi-Fi in order to use the app. That's really disappointing to me because where I work, cell signal is poor at best and the internet is non-existent. I really would have liked it if they had a offline mode and the app automatically synchronized all the changes as soon as it reconnected to the internet. Now this next thing is kind of a nitpick, and that's you cannot playtest the deck. You can do a test hand and draw like the next couple cards, but that's about it. But that's not really the intended use of the app anyways, so I can kind of live with it. These next couple things aren't really complaints, they're just more odd choices. For example, what determines the title for the duel logs is the information that you put down for your opponent. As someone who will definitely be using this for the WCQ next year, if it happens, I would have really liked it to be able to write down what the event is, and what round, and all that. Now I could technically still do that, but I would really appreciate it if I could do it on two separate lines, and not on the same one. Another thing is that Neuron only displays the most recent changes of the ban list. And in order to view the full ban list, it takes you to the card database website. It really doesn't make any sense. Now, other apps do include the full ban list, including what's been changed, so I don't know why Konami didn't do this as well. The last thing is really just a nice touch, and that is you can switch between different artworks for the same card. So if you really want the alternative art for Ash Blossom, you go for it, my guy. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing and want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content just like this, and for Yu-Gi-Oh content that's not like this at all, subscribe to the channel and share this video on social media. And while you're there, follow me. My name is Brent, and I am Maxed Out Weird, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace!